With the inclusion of the Mario Bros. 2 Mushroom Power-Up in Mario Maker 2, this added a brand new potential for level designing. It gave us the Mario Bros. 2 game style that we've always wanted. Kind of. It gave Mario moves to be able to stand on enemies and pick them up, and also ride on enemies without hurting them, and this was something new. And this kind of helped us get that game style that we never did receive, in a way. And I thought about what other power-ups could also do the same thing, change Mario's moveset just enough to feel like a completely different game style. So for today, we're sticking with Mario games and talking about different power-ups that would work to change Mario's moveset up completely to be almost a different game style, since we didn't get any new ones as a DLC or free update. Before we get started, make sure you leave a like if you enjoyed today's video, and subscribe if you guys are new to stay up to date on all things Nintendo. Currently, only 8% of you that are subscribed view my videos, so please feel free to sub if you enjoy the content that you see here on the channel. The first one I have here is a Super Mario 64 Mushroom. This turns Mario, obviously, into Mario 64 Mario, where he will have more of a diverse moveset. He can do the backwards turnaround flip, he can do different types of triple jumps and long flips, and you can't really do any of this in 3D World. You do have a long jump, but that's really about it. He doesn't have his full moveset and potential that he does in 64, so it would just make Mario a little bit more athletic for the level that he's in. This can also give Mario the ability to ledge grab and pick up things like he can in Mario Bros. 2, and he can also dive on his stomach and slide a little bit and maybe even pop back up and continue to run like he can in 64. So there's a lot of potential for his moveset, and I think that's all they really need to do is just make Mario more athletic with this power-up. Now, Super Mario Sunshine Mario would be a blast. This would give you Flood as the power-up, and once you collect them, you then can have them on your back, and you'll pretty much walk around with Flood mechanics. You can hover over gaps. Obviously, you're in 2D now, so it would look a little bit different, but you could still hover over gaps left and right, so you can make a level design based on that hover. You have to reach far gaps and far distances using that hover nozzle. Then you have your regular spray. Now, I'm not sure what the regular spray would do considering the fact that there's no ink or any goop at all in Mario Maker, but maybe it can work kind of like Smash Brothers where it pushes enemies back or maybe just chucks them across the stage when you hit them, because currently in-game that's exactly what it does in Super Mario Sunshine. When you spray a blooper or any type of enemy at all, it'll shoot it across the stage, and that might be a cool mechanic to get enemies out of your way quickly with just a little spray. Or maybe you can wet the floor of the stage and slide across on your stomach like you can in the game really fast. There's lots of options still, but I think the hover nozzle would be the main draw here. You also have the extra attachments for Flood. For instance, you have the rocket nozzle, which would be a lot of fun to shoot yourself up in the level. You could have a really tall vertical level, and your whole theme is to get to the top of a tower, and you can just keep shooting yourself up higher and higher and higher while dodging enemies on the way up. That could be a pretty cool thing to do. And then you could also have the turbo nozzle where you can fly across the stage very fast at high speeds. Now, we already have the car for the 3D World theme, so why not have a turbo nozzle for whatever theme you put this item in, which we'll get to in a second. But that would be really cool. You could run across water, you could run across, little small platforms, and it would be pretty tricky though because you'd be moving extremely fast, but it would make for a cool speedrun style of level. And I think all these nozzles would work really well. Like I said, with the hover, rocket, and turbo, you have a lot of options, and being able to squirt people with the regular one would be a lot of fun. Now, obviously, the controls would be a little different. You would have to have like the L and R buttons mapped for that, and I don't know exactly how well that would work considering the fact that it takes away from a lot of the different potentials of the moveset, but maybe you could just still use just, R to shoot, L to hover, or just set yourself up, or, I think the flipper buttons or the shoulder buttons would work really well with this still, and I think this shouldn't be too big of a problem. Now, this is potentially my favorite idea because I think there's so much potential behind it. A Super Mario Galaxy power-up. Maybe you collect a Luma, and what happens is you gain the ability to spin. No, that's not it. You actually get to use gravity mechanics. So what if Mario is able to follow a certain platform all the way around 360, a wraparound, like it's a planetoid object? So for instance, let's say you build something in the wide open and Mario can actually run around it and enter the pipe on the bottom. That would be really cool. For instance, let's take Mario Odyssey, where on the moon, there is a 2D section where you can run around these planets. What if that was kind of how this worked? Whether it be in the classic Mario style or a brand new one like New Super Mario Bros. Or even 3D World, I think it would work pretty cool. Now, obviously, implementing gravity mechanics is probably nowhere near as easy as I'm making it sound. It's probably a very difficult process, but that would be very cool to try to do. You also, like I said, have Mario's signature spin, where you can spin away enemies and actually hit them. And I think this is kind of a big mechanic, because what if you could actually hit Bowser again? And right now, there's really no way to attack him without doing some type of power-up like a fire flower or some type of other item. And I think it'd be really cool just to use that swing mechanic where he can just smack things around. I think Mario Galaxy style Mario would be almost close enough to have a Mario Galaxy style in the game. It wouldn't quite be as good as a style itself, but having gravity mechanics for Mario and being able to wrap around objects and fly around things, that would be very cool. I think everybody could agree with that one. Now, Mario Odyssey is without a doubt going to be the most work for Nintendo. This would have to literally probably be its own game style, but this is kind of what I'm thinking. Mario Odyssey would have to have Cappy, and Cappy would obviously be Mario's capture mechanic. He would allow Mario to capture enemies and turn into them, and that will be kind of the main premise of this power-up. And how much fun would that be? To be able to capture, maybe not every single enemy in Mario Maker, but let me say they pick 5 or 10 different enemies that you can capture, and you can actually just make levels designed around these enemies rather than Mario. Maybe you make a level designed around a Goomba that has to like infiltrate a certain area or stack up on other Goombas. Or maybe you'll make a level that you have to be a Pokey and, build your way up to the top of the tower or something. I don't know, but it could be so much fun. Maybe you could turn into a Spike and throw spike balls out and hurt enemies and hit everybody. I mean, it would be so much fun to be able to have Cappy utilize the capture mechanic in Mario Maker. I think people would make some absolutely stunning levels, and I just think it'd be a lot of fun, but I don't know if that will ever happen because that's a lot of work, because Nintendo has to be able to make that mechanic work with all these different enemies in a Maker game, which could be very difficult. These were just some really cool power-ups that I think would be a lot of fun to use in Mario Maker to change Mario up just a little bit and maybe add a little different spice to certain game styles. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Obviously, if you guys enjoy this, I will look and see different power-ups that are from different Nintendo series, such as Metroid, since they already did Link from The Legend of Zelda, and I'll explore some other outside character power-ups that would be really cool to have in Mario Maker as well. But thank you guys so much for tuning in, and like always, I'll see you in the next one. See you guys.